Greetings and greetings to you all. Thank you for joining us again in this 5 month spiritual quest. My name is Master Abdullah Ngom. And today in this 5 month journey, we're going to talk about moral justice. Moral justice. Because when injusticeness arrogantly stood firm and proudly claimed or seemed to be invincible due to his cruelties and inhuman act toward the innocent souls, where is moral justice become a legit question that require a reasonable answer. This is the topic in this 5 month journey. My friend, let's start the journey. We live in a world at this point in time as we speak. The world have gone through many changes, not favorable changes. Many souls, many innocent souls have suffered, perished senselessly, inhumane. That raised the question, where is God? Where is God with his moral justice? Where is God with his divine authority? Because those who have faith in God seem to believe God have the sovereign authority over all. Therefore, he have the authority to put things into end if God chooses. Which is very true. And we're going to clarify that. This injusticeness have raised the question of doubt of many who believe in God. Where is God? Where the God we believe in? Why God is watching this horrible injustice and do nothing? It raises the question, it questions their faith, it shakes their faith to the core, within their soul, asking the question, where is moral justice? Because moral justice is nowhere to be found when injustice seems to be striving, getting stronger and stronger. This also make those who want to have faith in God to get confused about God or to get confused for trusting God. Because when injustice seems to strive and no challenge, no divine authority to challenge that question, that can create confusion. I want to believe, but I have no reason to believe. Because the one I want to believe, I will expect that one to have the might, the authority to do justice, to bring justice in this situation that I'm hopeless myself. So it creates confusion for not to have faith in God. And those who have no interest of having faith in God, the injustice of the world feed their soul. Why is that? Because the injustice where no moral justice is to be found, it justifies their reason for not to believe or want to believe in God. So they rather fuel injustice, shout, endorse injustice, just to justify their reason for not having believe or want to believe in God. But we're going to clarify this, my friend. This is no more than a work of the enemy of God and humankind altogether. This was the blueprint, the first draft of his book to deceive humankind and to lead them astray from their path, from the true path, true purpose in this life. The playbook of the enemy of God. you think God who created a universe will have a problem taking care of a situation of one world? God who created the universe and beyond will have take care of one world situation that will be challenged to this God, that even logically will make no sense. If bringing evil of this world was God's duty, God's responsibility, God will do that in the blink of an eye, and no one can stand between that. God, in the blink of an eye, God will bring it to an end. This is no more than the enemy playbook. The enemy of God and the enemy of humankind altogether is playbook. To make those who have faith in God to question God, those who want to have faith in God to confuse about God, and those who have no business or no desire of knowing God to have a reason for not knowing God. So when they will be recruited to do the devil's will, the devil's work, they will be proudly, gladly do so. These are the category where the enemy of God ordained his disciples, ordained them to exercise cruelties toward the innocent people. And the rest, the lower level, as cheerleaders, which what we see unfolding in this very moment in time here in America. One disciple of the darkness is elected. Before he was elected, he said everything he was going to do, regardless how horrifying it sound and seem at that point, he was elected anyway. Now he's carrying out his promise of inhumane and cruelty. Now people are seem surprised, seem to be awed. You were told before, but you participate to bring it to reality. And you want God come to clean up your mess. This is your own mess, you clean it. You see? People have to take accountability for their action. You're not going to make your mess and expect God to come to clear it up for you. This is not the God we worship. This is not the heavenly God. As we say, our Father in heaven. Our Father in heaven is the most responsible parents who love his children more than any parents can ever do. This is our Father in heaven we're talking about. One who will never abandon his children. The Father who created a world. All that is needed for his children at their disposal. Give them have everything you want, but give them order, rule and regulations. They disobey. Instead of being accountable for their actions, repent and vow to do better. They choose to continue their rebellious behaviors, influenced and guided by the very same enemy who deceived them. You are deceived. Because of this individual, your privilege was taken away, and you still allowed to be guided by the same individual who cost you more than you could ever afford. Instead of turning your back on that individual, you choose to walk the same path, the path that led humankind to where we are at this point in time, to build a world that is the opposite of the one we inherited. And we want to blame everything in God. Where's God? The enemy of God have the awesome job for blind humankind for truly knowing God. God has been blamed for many. Even those who don't believe God, they still blame God. Even those who don't believe God. Whenever horrible things happen, God. Even though they don't believe it. Those who have faith in God, anything horrible happen is the will of God. Is the will of God. Any bad thing is the will of God. Live with it. Is the will of God. Deep in their soul, they're blaming God for it. They say it's God's will. A tragedy, or it's God's will. And they say they have faith in God, a merciful God. And they blame God for all the horrible things. God's will. You hear that in the religious sector, those who claim to believe God. Or is God's will? Only set up when it's horrible things happen. Tragedy. Sometimes beyond what you can even comprehend. They say, oh, it's God. That's why you see in scripture where the enemy portray God as a destructive master, part of his strategy. God flooded the entire world because he's angry. If a God can flood the entire world, then humankind can do whatever damn thing they want. Because God have done the worst that any human being can do. One of the greatest lie. See? God sees as a destructive monster. God that brings his wrath, anger, destroying. You see, my friends, God is not a parent. I want to give you a metaphor. God is not a parent who will watch his children get into trouble and get them out of trouble and watch them do it again. No. God is a responsible parent. You get yourself in trouble, he will watch you to get yourself out of the trouble so you can learn something from that to be better. To be better for not repeating it. God is not like those parents who watch their children get into trouble and get them out of trouble and watch them do it again over and over and over. And sometimes the parent have to give the child a timeout. God is a parent who is sincere with his authorities, with his house rules. When you break the house rules, when you get into trouble, he will watch you get yourself out of it and learn something from it to be better, not to repeat it again. And when time comes to give you time out, to put you in a corner for time out, that is for you to reflect on your actions. So when you get out of it, when you come back, to be better, not repeating them again. And when time comes to take your privilege, like a parent, take your phone, privilege not to call your friend, and all the privilege that you enjoy, take them away. Some parents, you're grounded for 2 weeks, no phone, no phone. You're not going to your friend, no this, no that. The next day, they budge. That become game. They play with their kids. Because the child know it doesn't matter what they do. If you come to grounded, that will not stay. So that will not be respected. Become just game they play. God doesn't do that. If God take your privilege and ask you to reflect, God expects you to reflect. So when you get back, you will not repeat those mistakes. And you see also ungrateful children who rebel with the house authority, house rules. And when they get time out or grounded, instead of reflecting on their actions to do better, no. They sit there planning to rebel more, to be defiant. I can take this. To be defiant about the rules. To rebel in the house that is not theirs. To be defiant against the rules and regulation of the house that is not theirs. Not just that, everything they claim to own as theirs, if was taken away by those who give it to them, they probably be just as they come into this world for the first time, with nothing. Shoes, devices, clothes, room, to bed, everything else. There's nothing that they rightfully own. Yet, they rebel. Yet, they rebel against the rules of the household. Sometimes to a point where some will choose to leave the household just because the rules. Choose the street. Over where they have everything that they need for free. To the street where they have to hustle for any of their needs. Leave all the privilege to where they have to struggle for all they need just because they have a rebellious spirit. Ungrateful, rebellious spirit. Which will love them because when they're on the street, the mechanism of survival is the skill of criminality. The skill of criminality will be what they need for their survival. They're going to scam, thieves, get into trouble. They probably end up dead or locked up. Just because they choose not to follow the simple rules of the house, that's not this. They want freedom. Freedom. They want freedom. For them, they're rebellious, their rebellious spirit, their destructive, ungrateful, rebellious spirit. For them, in the definition, freedom. They want freedom. Sleeping on the street. They will call that freedom over sleeping in their own bed. We give a meal, give everything else that they don't pay for it. They call that freedom. over this. You see, you live in my house and choose not to follow my rules, and leave the house and want me to be blamed for it, or I kick you out and you want me to be blamed for it. Something is wrong with your head. If you cannot live with the rules of the house, go get your own house. You can make your own rule. This is not your house. When you get your house, you make your own rules. And if you cannot live with my rules, only two options. Voluntarily exit the house or be kicked out of the house. Plain and simple. This metaphor apply the same to humankind at large, toward the God whom we call our Father in heaven. Our Father in heaven is the most responsible parent any children, anyone could ever possibly need. Parents who provide all your needs, more than you can ever need, at your disposal, and ask nothing from you, nothing, but just be responsible. Be grateful and responsible. Simple thing. Be grateful and responsible. But we turn out to be just like the irresponsible, ungrateful, brat little child who end up choosing the street over the privilege of the household. That's where we are as humankind at large. Our rebellious nature have led us where we are. And we asking God, where's God? God is where always God was. God's never go anywhere. If God stop the oxygen that we're breathing for 10 minutes, there will be no many souls left in this world. Still providing everything that he was providing for from the beginning of time. It's still raining, the sun is still shining. Everything we need to live in this life, he's still doing his part, he's still doing his duty. Waiting for his children to get their head right so they can live a purposeful life. But we just follow the enemy of God to be more rebellious, more destructive, away from our purpose. Our Father in heaven is the saddest Father in heaven, or the saddest Father anywhere. The saddest any father can ever be. Watching his children to turn out to be the opposite of what they were meant to be. That can be a nightmare for any parents. That can be a nightmare for any parents. Just a simple household. When family members don't get along, just one family, when family members don't get along, but they're like cat and dog, fighting, animosity, envious. One can be okay with somebody else's success as long as it's not family members. The success of one family members is a threat to them. Fighting each other, plotting against each other, destroying each other. One family. A nightmare for any parents. Nightmare for any parents. Now look at the world and think about how God should be feeling. Look at the world the way it is. Think about how God should be feeling. Our Father in heaven, how our Father in heaven should be feeling, watching the world being set on fire by his own children. His own children be the most destructive creature just about ever created. Most destructive. The only creature in the planet of this earth who destroy one another more than any, and destroy others as well more than any. Not just that, destroying the very earth that stand them. Only one. Our Father in heaven must be a very sad Father in heaven due to his children's action on this earth. Now, God have stepped in. Your rebellious behavior will come to an end one way or the other. You obey by the rules of the house, or you voluntarily leave the house, or you will be forcefully kicked out of the house. You're no longer in a timeout situation. You're in a decision situation, decision moment, where you have to decide to obey, to live by the rules of the house, or to leave the house, or be kicked out of the house. One or the other, your choice. Choice. Decision moment for you to make a choice. Decision moment for humankind to make a choice. Because God said enough is enough. Enough is enough. And when God said enough is enough, enough is enough. And rebelling against the authority that gives you life and can take it anytime it pleases, that is beyond curse. Challenging God, are you crazy? One who gives you life can take it any moment he chooses without your consent or your awareness or whatever he wants. You will face that force. You're going to defiance against that force that gives you life and can take it whenever he chooses. You beyond curse. You beyond curse. That's more than a curse. There's no word for that. You beyond curse. There's no word for that. The one who gives you life can take it whenever he chooses. And because you say you're going to rebel against that force, you're going to rebel against his authority, you're beyond curse. Moment of decisions. Obey the rules of the house, or voluntarily get out of the house, or you'll be forced out of the house. And if you cannot build your own house, the street might be your only house. In this illustration, if you don't have the might to build your own world, to create your own world. Don't dare to challenge the authority of this house. Don't challenge the authority of the house. If you cannot build your own world, don't challenge the law of the world. I can tell you, the street out of this world is a place no soul want to be. If a harshness of the street, regular street, can be unbearable for many, wait till you see the street out of this world. It's not somewhere no one wants to be. Believe me, believe us when we tell you that. Believe us when we tell you that. It's more than you can comprehend, more than you can ever endure. Even if you multiply by million, you will not be able to endure it. All this chaos is soon coming to an end. All this lawlessness, the human insanity that nations, individuals, organizations are boldly, arrogantly inflicting toward others and causing great wound to the collective at large is soon coming to an end, because their demise, they're holding on to their last breath. This is where they know the exit point have arrived. And since the repent moment have passed, meaning the ship have left them behind. The ship of repentance have left for them. They are left behind. So only one option they seem to be reasonable for them, to create many and as much and horrifying chaos and terror to the innocent. That's all left of them. But by doing so, they're fulfilling the prophecy of their own demise on a scale that had never been seen before. And that will be their beginning journey to a far more horrifying journey than they have ever or could ever created in this earth. All the misery, sorrow, and horrors they inflicted in the soul of the earth, they will experience 10 times full for a very, very, very long time, if it's not for all eternity. So you don't envy them. You would have pity on them, but if that's their fate, the Most High know what is best, but you will not envy them. Their time is soon, they soon to arrive to their final destination. It's a prophecy written in stone on this earth, for the stars to witness, or ordained prophecy written from the heaven by God the Most High Himself, is imminent, cannot be stopped. They know that very well. So, hold on to your faith. If God was responsible for this, God would have been doing it Himself. But this time, God has sent help who are more than suited to get the job done. God have sent help who are more suited to get the job done. The devil and all his crew, they don't work the time of God. They don't work the time of God. This is not battle between devil and God and good and evil. No, 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 no. It's just this devil knucklehead playing game with human who lost their way, find themselves in the dark where they cannot see, they cannot hear, they cannot think, but just be dragged by the enemy and the enemy of God. But now we have come to cut the cord, cut the curse, for mankind to be free, to make it due to fulfill their purpose in which they were here for. God is not responsible for any evil ever done in the land of this earth to anyone. Any evil ever done in this earth, God never responsible for any. Not to an individual, not to a group, not to a nation. God is not responsible for any evil act done in this world. It's humankind who lost their way and find themselves struggling with the evil of their own making. It's humankind struggling with the evil of their own making. God is not responsible for none of it. God is not responsible for no evil ever done in the sight of this earth, but is here to help his children. Now, I'm come to take the house. You follow the rules. It's not up to you no more. It's no longer about timeout. So you can reflect and do better. No. Do better now. Or else. You do better now or else. Because this behavior is no longer tolerated, no longer acceptable, and it's no longer be tolerated. Choice. Mean, in another word, judgment. And you have the free will to choose. Whatever you choose in your own making. And God is still not responsible for that. And the formula of Armageddon, which was specifically designed to make humankind to be destructive as possible. Because if God Himself gonna face off, or the army of God gonna face off with the army of evil for physical destruction, the mother of all battle. If you expect the mother of all battle coming in the future, that make you feel no concern in your present moment to the destruction of your present moment. Because the worst yet to come. That's what he said. He said the worst yet to come. Doesn't matter whatever you do, there's a worse to come. Now you see that in the scripture. Armageddon. Strategy, lies, and deception. Strategy of the devil. Armageddon. And the way it's written, prophesy, is so silly. It's humiliating. It's just like the way prophesy Armageddon, where nation got in one area, Megiddo, with all their army. This modern generation, the warfare is not fought like a past generation where men face off in a battlefield, butchering each other like savages, like with sword and knives. That's the scenario of Armageddon. At this moment, we have nukes. We have nukes. You just have to press button from 100 miles away, 1,000 miles away. How is it even possible all the nation get together in one area? Where they going to say? Where they going to? Come on. That's even silly to read. It's even silly to read. The way is this way, even silly. Armageddon. Armageddon is not a battle of physical destruction. It's a battle, it's a world war. The truth and lies, fallacy, face off in a battlefield of righteousness to fight for the purpose, for human to know their purpose on earth. Where truth will defeat all that was built through falsehood, lies and falsehood. For humankind to realize and recognize their true purpose. When all that was built in falsehood fails. This is the battle of Armageddon, where reality will testify. The last chapter on his book of the force of darkness on this earth. This is what Armageddon is. It's not a physical battle of destruction. It's a battle, the army of light and the army of darkness. Battling off for the truth. For the truth, not for blood. For the truth, not for blood. That's what Armageddon is. And if you were waiting for it, you're just in it. This is it. And the enemy know that as well. This is it. Is an ordained prophecy written from the heavens. It's imminent. It's already written in stone on this earth. The downfall of the force of darkness. So, don't feel despair. Don't feel despair. God, our Father in heaven, have never and will never abandon his children. Despite, regardless of their messed up, despite their shortcomings, will never abandon them. That's the moment we're witnessing. God stepping up to save his children from the hands of evil. For all to know, God have come to save his children for the mess of their own making. And He come to save them for His grace. For His grace and love for His children, He step in to save them from their own mess. God is never responsible for any evil ever been done to anyone in this land of this earth. Always have faith and respect for His children to realize and do what they need to do to be better. Come to a time where you have to step in. You have to step in to save them by His grace. By His grace. He's the Father who loves His children than any parents can ever do. With all the messed up, all the things we have done to this earth, to each other, to all the other creatures of the world, He's still showing grace to save us. This is the God we're talking about. The God whom His mercy is limitless. And guess what? He does not need it for Himself. He all need for His children. He's here to save His children. This is the battle for Armageddon. And the battle is already won. The battle is already won. It's already written. All you expect is just the dust. The enemy just making noise. Try to make a big exit. Try to make big noise on their final destination, on their final moment. That's what it's all about. Darkness can never prevail over light. Never. Never. This is the history. The history of humankind will end with the grace of God. We will end with the grace of God for humankind to redeem, where we will redeem ourselves to fulfill our purpose in which we were here to do. This is a prophecy. So feel no despair and let evil make noise, because a force that far greater than evil himself can ever understand is in play. A force far greater than evil himself can ever understand is in play. Things about to go down for all to see till the end of time. So my friends, we're going to leave it here till next time. There's so much to say, but the journey continue. I'm going to leave it till this next time. Feel no spare. Hold up your head up. Rise up your spirit. Help our ride. God have never abandoned us and will never abandon us. Come to save us from our own mess. Come to save us from our own mess. And there's nothing God can do. There's nothing God can do. God who created this universe to clean up the mess of one earth, there's nothing to this God. There's nothing to this God. There's nothing to this God. So dear friends, I'm going to leave it here till next time. As always, be well and God bless. I'll see you next time.